It was a rainy October afternoon in Portland when I sat alone by the window of my usual coffee shop. My phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. The words were simple, but they stopped my heart. "I know where you live now. We need to talk. You know who this is." I knew exactly who it was even after 17 years of silence. My hands trembled not from fear, but from guilt I had buried deep inside. I had been waiting for this day, feeling both terrified and strangely relieved. Before I tell you what I did, let me ask you something. Where are you watching from right now? Drop your city in the comments below. And if you believe in second chances, or if you think some mistakes can never be forgiven, hit that subscribe button because this story might change how you see both. Now, let me take you back to where it all began. I met Marcus when I was 6 years old. His family moved into the house 3 doors down from ours on a quiet street in Boise, Idaho. I still remember that first day like it happened yesterday. I was playing in my backyard when I noticed a skinny kid trying to climb the old oak tree in his new yard. He kept slipping down, and I watched him fail 3 times before I walked over and showed him how to grip the bark properly. We climbed up together and sat on a thick branch talking until the sun went down. That was the beginning of everything. From that day forward, Marcus and I were inseparable. We walked to school together every morning and walked home together every afternoon. We played basketball in my driveway until the streetlights came on. We had sleepovers every weekend, sometimes at my house, sometimes at his, but mostly at mine because Marcus did not have the easiest home life. His father died when Marcus was only 4 years old, a car accident on an icy highway one December night. His mother worked as a night shift nurse at the local hospital, which meant Marcus was alone most evenings. My parents noticed this early on, and they opened our home to him without hesitation. My mother always set an extra plate at dinner. My father taught both of us how to change a tire and check the oil in a car. They treated Marcus like a second son, and he became the brother I never had. We did everything together. When I got chicken pox in 3rd grade, Marcus came over anyway and caught it too, so we could be miserable together. When Marcus failed his first math test in 5th grade, I stayed up late with him every night for a month, helping him study until he brought his grade up to a B. We had a secret handshake that took us 2 weeks to perfect. We made promises about the future that only young boys can make with such certainty. High school only strengthened our bond. We both tried out for the basketball team freshman year, and we both made it. I played point guard, and Marcus was our shooting guard. Our coach called us the Twin Engines because of how naturally we worked together on the court. I would drive toward the basket, and without even looking, I would pass the ball exactly where Marcus would be. He would catch it and sink the shot almost every time. We led our team to the regional championships 2 years in a row. Marcus was always the smarter one. He got straight A grades while I struggled to maintain a B average. Before every test, he would come over and drill the material into my head until I understood it. He never made me feel stupid. He just had this patient way of explaining things that made everything click. I will never forget the spring of junior year. I was riding my bike home from practice when a car ran a stop sign and clipped my back wheel. I flew over the handlebars and landed hard on the pavement. Broken leg. 6 weeks in a cast, and 2 months of physical therapy. Marcus was there through all of it. He carried my backpack to every class. He pushed my wheelchair through the crowded hallways. He sat with me during lunch when I could not go outside with everyone else. That is the kind of friend he was. After graduation, we both enrolled at Boise State University. I studied engineering because I liked building things and solving problems. Marcus went into business because he had big dreams about starting his own company someday. We rented a small apartment together just off campus. It was cramped and the heating barely worked, but it was ours. We had our whole future planned out. After college, we would start a company together. I would handle all the technical stuff and Marcus would handle the business side. We would build something great and make our families proud. We talked about it, constantly imagining the office we would have, and the employees we would hire, and the success we would achieve together. The summer before our senior year, everything was perfect. I was 21 years old with a girlfriend I adored, and a best friend who was more like a brother, and a future that seemed bright and certain. Marcus was dating someone too. We would go on double dates and talk about how our kids would grow up together just like we did. Looking back, that summer was the last time I was truly happy without any guilt weighing on my chest. Because what happened next would haunt me for 17 years. My sister Jenna had just graduated high school that June. She was 18 years old, 3 years younger than me, and she had always been the baby of the family. My parents adored her. I adored her too in the protective way that older brothers do. But that summer she was dating someone I did not trust. His name was Derek. He was 22, and he had a reputation around town that made me uneasy. People said he drank too much and had a temper. I had seen him get aggressive at a party once, shoving another guy for bumping into him. I told Jenna I did not like him, but she just rolled her eyes and told me to mind my own business. She was 18 now. She could make her own choices. One weekend, in late July, there was a family wedding in Twin Falls about 2 hours away. A cousin on my mother's side was getting married and our whole family was expected to attend. Jenna said she was not feeling well. She had a headache and a sore throat and she just wanted to stay home and rest. My mother fussed over her and left soup in the refrigerator and told her to call if she needed anything. Marcus was staying at our house that summer as he often did. But he had an early shift at his part-time job the next morning, so he stayed behind too. My parents trusted him completely. He had been part of our family for 15 years. No one thought twice about leaving him home with Jenna. They were practically siblings. We left Friday afternoon, and the wedding was Saturday evening. We planned to drive back Sunday morning. Everything was normal. Everything was fine. But when we pulled into the driveway Sunday morning just before noon, I could tell something was wrong. The house felt different somehow. Heavier. My mother went to check on Jenna while my father and I unloaded the car. Then I heard my mother scream. I dropped the suitcase I was holding and ran inside. My mother was in Jenna's doorway, and Jenna was sitting on her bed crying. Not just crying, sobbing. Her whole body was shaking. My mother was holding her asking what happened over and over. And then Jenna said the words that would change everything. She said Marcus came into her room last night. She said he had been drinking, and he was acting strange. She said he tried to touch her, and she had to push him away and lock her door. She said she was so scared she did not sleep at all. She said she did not know what to do. I felt the blood drain from my face. My ears started ringing. This could not be true. Not Marcus. Not my best friend. Not the person I trusted more than anyone in the world. But Jenna was my sister. She was crying and trembling, and she had no reason to lie. Why would she make something like this up? My mother was already talking about calling the police. My father stood frozen in the hallway with a look of shock on his face. I did not wait for anyone to tell me what to do. I stormed through the house looking for Marcus. I found him in the kitchen sitting at the table drinking coffee and reading something on his phone. He looked up when I came in and he smiled at me. He actually smiled like nothing had happened. I lost control completely. I grabbed him by the shirt and threw him against the wall. I screamed in his face, asking him what he did to my sister, asking him how he could betray us like this, asking him why. Marcus looked completely confused. He kept saying he did not know what I was talking about. He said he watched a movie in the living room and fell asleep on the couch and did not wake up until morning. He said he never went near Jenna's room. He said he did not drink anything except water and orange juice. I did not believe a single word. I called him a liar. I called him worse things than that. I hit him. I hit my best friend of 15 years right in the face and he fell to the floor with blood coming from his nose. He looked up at me with tears in his eyes and he begged me to listen to him. He swore on his father's grave that he did not do what Jenna said. But I was beyond listening. All I could see was my little sister crying. All I could hear was her voice describing what happened. I told Marcus he was dead to me. I told him I trusted him like a brother, and he tried to hurt my sister. I told him to get out of our house and never come back. He left with nothing but the clothes on his back. He did not even grab his shoes. He just walked out the door barefoot, and I watched him go without a shred of sympathy. But I was not done. I wanted Marcus to suffer the way my sister was suffering. I called his boss at the warehouse where he worked part-time and told them what happened. I may have exaggerated some details. I may have made it sound even worse than what Jenna described. Marcus was fired that same day. Then I went on social media. I posted about what Marcus did. I named him publicly. I called him a predator and warned everyone to stay away from him. Our mutual friends read my post and they believed me. Of course they believed me. I was Doug, the guy everyone trusted. Marcus tried to defend himself online, but no one listened. They called him disgusting. They called him worse. The rumors spread quickly. They reached the university. Someone filed a complaint, and Marcus was called in for a meeting with the administration. He lost his scholarship. Without that money, he could not afford to stay in school. His mother called me one night. I can still hear her voice breaking as she begged me to reconsider. She said her son would never do something like this. She said there must be some mistake. I told her I was sorry, but I knew what I knew. I hung up the phone and blocked her number. A month later, Marcus and his mother packed up everything they owned and left Boise. No one knew where they went. I told myself I did not care. I told myself I was protecting my family. I told myself I did the right thing. I watched him leave and felt nothing but righteous anger. I believed I was protecting my family. I had no idea I had just destroyed an innocent man based on a lie my own sister told to protect someone else. The years passed. I graduated from Boise State and moved to Portland for a job in software engineering. I built a career. I got married to a wonderful woman named Sarah. We had a son together. On paper, my life looked perfect. But there were nights when I could not sleep. Nights when I would lie awake staring at the ceiling thinking about Marcus. Specifically, I would think about his eyes in that moment when I threw him out. Those were not the eyes of a guilty man. Those were the eyes of someone who genuinely did not understand why this was happening to him. I pushed those thoughts away every time they came. I reminded myself that Jenna had no reason to lie. I reminded myself that I did what any brother would do. I reminded myself that I was the good guy in this story. Jenna moved on with her life too. She met a man named Tyler a few years after college. They got married and had 2 kids. She never talked about that summer, and I never brought it up. It was ancient history. It was over. Or so I thought. 17 years after that terrible weekend, I got a phone call from my mother. Her voice sounded strange, thin and shaky like she was trying not to cry. She told me that Jenna and Tyler were getting divorced. That was shocking enough on its own, but there was more. Tyler had discovered that Jenna had been cheating on him. Multiple affairs over several years. When he confronted her about it, everything fell apart. They had a massive fight, and Jenna started confessing to things Tyler never expected. One of those confessions involved that summer 17 years ago. Tyler was so furious after their fight that he called my mother and told her everything. He said Jenna admitted that Marcus never touched her. Marcus never went to her room. Marcus never did anything wrong. The truth was that Derek had come over that night. Jenna had invited him secretly knowing our parents were away. Derek showed up drunk and things got out of control. He was rough with her. He scared her. But she did not want to admit that she had snuck her boyfriend into the house while we were gone. She did not want to get in trouble. She did not want our parents to forbid her from seeing Derek. So when we came home unexpectedly early and found her crying, she panicked. She needed someone to blame. Marcus was there. Marcus had no way to prove where he was all night. Marcus was the easy target. She lied to protect herself. She lied to protect Derek. And I believed every word. I do not remember dropping the phone. I just remember being on my knees on the kitchen floor, unable to breathe. My wife found me there 20 minutes later, still staring at nothing. 17 years. For 17 years, Marcus lived with the accusation I made. He lost his job. He lost his education. He lost his home. He lost his friends. He lost his future. And he was innocent the entire time. I thought about his mother begging me to listen. I thought about how she must have felt watching her son's life crumble for something he did not do. I later learned that she passed away 5 years ago. She died without ever seeing her son's name cleared. She died believing the world thought her boy was a monster. I cried harder than I have ever cried in my life. I cried for Marcus. I cried for his mother. And I cried for the person I used to be. The person who was so certain he was right that he destroyed someone without even considering that he might be wrong. I knew I had to find Marcus. I did not know if he was alive or dead, or what had become of him after all these years. But I had to try. I hired a private investigator. It took 4 months of searching through records and leads that went nowhere. Finally, the investigator found him. Marcus was living in Seattle. He worked as a long-haul truck driver. He never married. He never had kids. He lived alone in a small apartment. I sat down and wrote him a letter. 10 pages, front and back. I told him everything. I told him about Jenna's confession. I told him about how Tyler called my mother. I told him how sorry I was. I told him that I knew sorry was not enough. I told him I would understand if he never wanted to see me again, but I had to try. I mailed the letter and waited. 2 weeks went by with no response. I checked my mailbox obsessively. Nothing. I started to accept that I would never hear from him, that he had every right to ignore me for the rest of his life. Then my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. I know where you live now. We need to talk. You know who this is. We agreed to meet at the coffee shop near my apartment. I arrived 30 minutes early and sat by the window watching the door. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. Then he walked in. Marcus, 17 years older. His hair had gone gray at the temples. His face had lines that were not there before. He looked tired in a way that went deeper than just needing sleep. But his eyes were the same. Those same eyes that had looked at me with such confusion and hurt the last time I saw him. He sat down across from me. Neither of us spoke for a long time. I did not know where to begin. How do you apologize for stealing 17 years of someone's life? Finally, Marcus broke the silence. He said he read my letter 7 times. He said he did not sleep for 3 days after it arrived. I started talking then. The words poured out of me. I apologized for not believing him. I apologized for hitting him. I apologized for the social media posts and the phone calls to his employer. I apologized for everything. Tears were streaming down my face, and I did not bother to wipe them away. Marcus listened without interrupting. Then he told me about his life after Boise. He moved with his mother to a small town in Montana. He tried to find work, but the internet had made his name toxic. Every time an employer searched for him, they found my posts. He was fired from 3 jobs in 2 years when co-workers discovered his past. He gave up on office work and started driving trucks because it was one of the few jobs where no one cared about your reputation. He never had a serious relationship. How could he? Every woman who looked him up online found the same accusations. He stopped trying after a while. His mother never recovered from watching her only son be destroyed. She developed health problems that the doctors said were stress-related. When she died 5 years ago, Marcus was completely alone. He spent years hating me. He fantasized about finding me and making me pay for what I did. But eventually he realized that hatred was destroying him more than it was hurting me. He let go of the anger not because I deserved forgiveness, but because he could not carry that weight anymore. He said he came to Portland not for revenge. He came to look me in the eyes and ask one question. Was our friendship ever real to you? I told him it was the most real thing in my life. I told him I destroyed it because I chose to believe a lie over everything we built. I told him I would spend the rest of my life trying to make this right even if he never forgave me. Marcus did not say he forgave me. I did not expect him to, but he did not walk away either. We started talking after that, slowly, carefully, once a month at first, then more often. I publicly retracted everything I said about him 17 years ago. I posted the truth on every platform where I had spread the lies. I contacted old friends from Boise and told them what really happened. I helped Marcus find a lawyer to explore his legal options. Whether he could sue Derek or Jenna or anyone else was complicated, but at least he had someone in his corner now. I had to confront Jenna eventually. That conversation was brutal. She cried and apologized and said she never imagined things would go so far. She thought Marcus would just leave and everyone would move on. She did not expect me to destroy his entire life. I told her that I needed time before I could have a relationship with her again. I did not want to carry hatred in my heart, but I also could not pretend everything was fine. Marcus started seeing a therapist. I paid for every session. It was the least I could do. I started seeing a therapist too because I needed to learn how to live with what I had done. Not to forget it, never to forget it, but to keep moving forward anyway. A year after our first meeting in that coffee shop, Marcus and I met for dinner on the anniversary of that meeting. We are not best friends like we were when we were young. Too much has happened. Too much has been lost. But we have something new now. Something built on honesty and accountability and the painful process of trying to heal. Marcus actually smiled at me during that dinner. A real smile. The first one I had seen from him since before everything fell apart. It did not fix anything. It did not undo the past. But it meant something. I learned some hard lessons from all of this. I learned that anger can turn good people into monsters. When I believed my sister without question, I became capable of cruelty I never thought possible. I learned that family does not always tell the truth, and that blind loyalty can be a weapon. I learned that once you destroy someone's reputation, it can never be fully restored, no matter how many apologies you make. But the biggest lesson is this: it is never too late to face the truth. It is never too late to try to make things right. You might not succeed. You might not be forgiven. But you have to try anyway. Because living with unexamined guilt will hollow you out from the inside. Marcus and I will never get back those 17 years. His mother died believing her son was guilty of something he never did. That is something I can never undo. But every time we meet for coffee now, every time I see him smile again, I am reminded that redemption is not about erasing the past. It is about choosing to be better today than you were yesterday. If you are holding on to anger right now, if you are about to destroy someone based on what you think you know, I am asking you to pause. Ask questions. Seek proof. Look for the whole truth before you act. Because the truth has a way of coming out eventually. And when it does, you better hope you were on the right side of it. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever believed something that turned out to be completely wrong? Have you ever had to apologize for something you did years ago? Or have you ever been the one who was wrongly accused? Share your story in the comments below. I read every single one. If this story made you think, please hit the like button and share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to see more stories about real-life lessons and second chances, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss anything. Thank you for watching, and thank you for listening with an open heart. I hope you never have to learn these lessons the hard way like I did. But if you do, I hope you find the courage to face the truth and try to make things right. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Until next time.